We are now at the point where we're going to honor our top projects. And to MC this part of the program, we are fortunate again to have with us this year Rex Havens.
Thank you very much, Dave. Good evening. I am so impressed with what I have seen with the bridges and the buildings and the parks and the sanitation and every unbelievable thing that you have done. I'm intimidated to be here because what you people do is important, and that is where you and I differ. Because I'm a comedian, and it's one of the dumbest wastes of human energy ever invented. At least I'm not vain about that, I admit that. I know we don't do anything terribly valuable. We stare at the world, try to figure out things which we're never going to figure out. I've had a lot of people try to make me feel better about that. Particularly women seem to always have a good place in their heart, and they will look at me and they will say, "Don't forget, laughter's the best medicine." I think, yeah, but if your chest is tight and it's hard to breathe, I would see a doctor, so... Not the time for a knock-knock joke. So many things I can't figure out. Why don't you get credit for good behavior? Why don't I get credit for good behavior? How come the only people who get credit for good behavior are people in prison for bad behavior? If you shoot somebody, we will lock you up, and as a society, we will start to immediately keep track of your good behavior. 3 years later, if you haven't hurt anybody else, we'll say, "Good for you. We've been watching. You are the model of restraint. I don't know how you've done it, but it's on your record. 3 years of good behavior. Spend it wisely." Meanwhile, I have hurt no one, and you have hurt no one. We get no credit for it. I believe everyone deserves credit for good behavior. I believe for every 10 years of good behavior, you should be allowed to slap one stupid person. I sense the beginning of a movement here tonight, and I believe many of you are mentally selecting the person as we speak. If you know of me at all, it might be for my book and my CD and my stage play, which are called Everything I Needed to Know I Learned from My Wife. So many things I can't figure out. I'd like to know, do you think in your industry, do you think today, out there, 2014, man's world, woman's world, if you had, I hope the truth is in the middle, but if you had to do it just for fun, if you had to do a vote, think real quick, which one would you applaud for? How many of you would say it's still a man's world out there today? It's a man's world. That was embarrassing. By applause, woman's world today. Woman's world. Woman. Wow. I would say this, I know we have some young men out there. If you believe it's a man's world today, good for you, God bless you. But if you really believe it's a man's world out there today, I think you owe it to yourself to have a wedding. On the wedding day, that's when every man finds what a tiny piece of that day's puzzle he is. A lot of men, grooms, make a mistake. They go into their wedding day thinking, "Wow, beautiful hall, beautiful church. I'm half of the happy couple. Today must be a little bit about me." No, Bob, not your day. Her day, not your day. She doesn't even really want you there. She would get married without you if she could. She may love you and want to be your wife, but if she could have the beautiful day and just leave you at home on the lazy boy, she'd do it every time. Because we're men, that means in our bride's eyes, we're accidents waiting to happen. Everything is about the bride, always has been, always will be. When it comes to the marriage, maybe you do well, but the wedding is always the bride's day. Everything is about her. Her dress costs hundreds, maybe thousands. There are 5 separate fittings after the ceremony. Her dress, carefully, lovingly, clean, pressed, folded, sealed, wrapped in plastic, saved and preserved as an altar and shrine for life. The groom's clothing is rented and must be back to the shop on Monday because another idiot needs it next weekend. Don't let it bother you, fellas, that 500 other men got married in your clothes. You're still special. 50 years from now, the bride, if she wants to, can hold up her dress with a tear in her eye and say, I got married in that. If the groom can do that, he'll be holding underwear. That's all he gets to keep. So I say, make it special. After the ceremony, take the underwear home, stick it on the wall with a nail. 30 years later, give it to your son to get married in. Point to it every now and then and say, someday you're going to fill those out and make me proud, boy. The top accomplishments we honor tonight are creative and smart. They provide solutions to society's most challenging problems, and they make our lives safer, healthier, easier, and more enjoyable. There were 170 entrants in this year's competition, all demonstrating exemplary levels of ingenuity and resourcefulness. Of those entries, the judges selected 24 top winners, which we will now recognize with 16 honor awards and then 8 grand awards. And from the grand award winners, one has been chosen for the prestigious Grand Conceptor Award, representing the year's most outstanding engineering achievement. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pride that ACEC presents the 2015 Grand Conceptor Award for the year's most exceptional engineering achievement to the joint venture of T.Y. Lin International and Moffitt & Nichol of San Francisco for the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge New East Span designed for the California Department of Transportation. Will the winning team please return to the stage and accept congratulations? The old guys, probably my generation, love to tell the younger guys, oh, we were smarter, we did everything better, we had it harder, you guys are all soft. We blew one. My generation blew one, and we need to own it, and we need to take responsibility. I'm talking about wheels on luggage, because we weren't smart enough to think of it. That was luggage when I was a kid in the 60s and the 70s, and it was bulky, and it was lousy, and it was heavy, and you went through the airport like this. There were wheels at the airport, and they were on a cart. And we put the luggage on the cart, and we did not make the connection in our heads. Maybe those wheels should go on the luggage. We put them on the cart, and then, this is great, it's mobile. Look how easy this is. And then we got there, and we lifted it off again, and it wasn't mobile anymore. It took until the 1980s before we figured out, somebody, some younger person, figured out to put wheels on luggage. A bright engineer, good for him or her. We put a man on the moon in 1969. We put wheels on the moon in 1973. 7 years before we put wheels on luggage. I have several hospitals involved tonight. Am I the only person nervous checking into a hospital with the word memorial actually in the name?